Hello, everybody, and welcome to Weave the Tale, where we are playing Paradise City Stories, a Mutants and Masterminds actual play. I am Pope, your editor, Pope Worldbuild on Twitter, Pope Worldbuild on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. I use many different pronouns for the characters that we will see this evening. But as for myself, I use he, him, and I'm going to pass it around to this amazing cast. First up, Alicia, how you doing, my friend?
Hello, I'm doing significantly better than I was earlier this week. I'm getting over being sick. But yes, I'm Alicia, or Energy98, or Petty Energy, depending on where you find me on social media. And I'll be playing Jettica Jones, who definitely didn't invite an extra dimensional being into this space. Definitely did not start any of this at all. Don't check the VOD, it's fine.
Please check the VOD. Please. We want those views. Speaking of views, Zveth, how you doing, my friend?
Hello, I am good, thank you. Yeah, it's been a good day, and I'm excited to play. I play Crystal Clear, aka Overdrive. Myself and Overdrive use she/her pronouns, and Overdrive is a half split down the middle, cybernetically enhanced. Someone from a slightly different dimension, and she's definitely not terrified about going into this nightmare realm and what that might do with the various arsenal in her own mind that they could throw back at her. She's going to be fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Someone who definitely never has nightmares, never has a hard time is Mr. Universe. Mr. Smith, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm considerably better than poor Bastian here, that's for sure. I'm Mr. Smith. You can find me across the Twitterverse and what have you. I am playing Bastian B. Bucks, Mr. Universe, who is absolutely terrified about what's happening next, does not want to go, and would much rather hide in a closet.
That's a move. But someone who seems to just fare exceptionally well despite all the dark things lurking in corners, recesses, top buildings is Titanica, played by Molly. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing quite well. My name is Molly. I and my character Titanica use she/her pronouns. And yeah, I think this will be exciting to do a little trans-dimensional terror hopping.
Someone who knows about transdimensional hopping would definitely be our friend Lawin, played by the inimicable Anino. How you doing, friend?
Hey there. My name is Anino. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Lawin. I believe he's still trapped in another dimension, having been absconded with by the Wax King. So, we're going to be doing some bargaining.
Yes. For those of you good readers, this is issue 304. And the issue back, Lawin was absconded with by the minions of the Wax King, brought before him in his court. And the entity, with Lawin before him, said a very interesting phrase. I know where your son is. So, Anino, please describe the cover of today's issue.
Yes, so we're going to go with a classic comic book cover trope. You're just going to see mysterious ghoulish hands with puppet strings being manipulated on it. And connected to the strings are the superheroes, all of them.
Excellent. I love a good cover and I love a good trope. And as we turn to the very first page from that delightful cover, we are in familiar confines. Not familiar to our heroes, mind you, but familiar to us. as we see the old, grimy pipes, bits of wax hanging off of them, and the myriad candles that fill the hall of the court of the Wax King. And again, we see the figure on this large dais and throne, coated in wax, myriad candles. A face that, if it weren't for all the wax that's running, would be sort of like an elderly human gentleman with fire in place of eyes. And those fiery pits are staring right at Lawin, waiting for an answer.
So, which son are you referring to?
The one that you made the bargain for. You are questing for a reason, Lawin. One that is noted by those who care. And I am one of those. And unlike your current patrons, I do not have a need for you to go traipsing about the multiverse doing odd jobs.
Well, I've always been one to say that enjoying your work is paramount, and I happen to enjoy a little bit of dimension hopping, even though it's been about a decade now.
That is a long time to go without reward or praise. Have they even given you a hint as to where he is?
Sure, he's back in my original home dimension.
You sure?
Reasonably sure.
Okay. He just smiles. Smile that you've seen before. On the faces of villains, demons, and devils. That just says, what you know and what they know are two entirely different things.
So, yeah, Lawin is a little bit concerned, but there's no reason for him to trust anything that this guy is saying, so he's taking it with a grain of salt.
Well, if you are so sure of your patrons, so certain of your son's locale, and enjoy your work, then I should not keep you. That is not my nature. Feel free to walk about the city and find your way out. Don't let me keep you. But in your travels of fair halls, should you find that things may be amiss and are in need of direction, feel free to come on back anytime. Open invitation.
Do I just click my heels 3 times and ask for your
The
court.
city is. I'll put it this way: if you really need to get a hold of myself and my court, a door or window will suffice. A door and a window and the will to find me. But as for you getting back, that's on you. But I am certain a traveler as noted and experienced as yourself will have no problem getting back. Just a word of advice. Avoid District 13. And should the 13th hour ring, find a restaurant, lay low.
So let me get this straight. You kidnapped me out of my headquarters, bring me here to try to strike a bargain with me, and then you don't even have the courtesy to return me to my original space.
Well, again, I was trying to do right by you and your family, but you have rebuffed my offer. I will not stand against you unless you give me a reason. But as I see that you have nothing to offer myself, there is no reason for me to put you back. I can easily let you go, and you, being as mighty as you are, can easily find your way back.
Could you describe this room for me? Like, are there windows, anything like that?
No windows. There are 4 doors. There's a set of doubles that are directly behind you. There is a door a little off to your left in front, and another one a little off to your right behind. And then off to the left-hand side of the Wax King sits another small door. The place is wide, but definitely feels subterranean. Ceilings might be 9 feet before you start getting into a nest of pipes. Pipes also line the walls. It's very warm in here. It also has this horrible humidity combined with the smoke from all the candles. It's unpleasant. And there's this constant wafting of a bittersweet incense in the air.
Lawin's just going to extend his senses out and try to get a read on the doors. Maybe using his perception before he decides on which one he wants.
Go ahead and give me that perception roll.
32.
32. Excellent. Your senses are sharp. Sharp enough to cut through the haze. And you get a good read on the doors around you. You're fairly certain that the door behind the king leads to some sort of antechamber. Probably one used for guests as well as the monarch himself, and probably leads further in, further down into whatever the hell this place is. To your left, it seems almost impenetrable. there's a sense of darkness and weight behind that door. You're right. You can smell food. Some form of stew. Probably leads to either a feast hall or a kitchen, something like that. And then behind you, you can hear the sounds of dripping water and the churning of gears, and the pressure of steam. Can't hear you, friend.
I think Lawin's going to hover off the floor. All right. Been very unpleasant meeting you. And he's going to head for the door behind the throne, the one that going to lead deeper into his shindig. But along the way, he's pretty much going to topple every single candle and candle holder out of spite. If that wasn't clear enough.
I can get behind spite. No one stops you as you go about this waxen rampage through this hall. And just as you get to the door and open it, you just see all those candles flow back onto where they were sitting, returning to a form of stasis. You hear a chuckle from the king as you put that first step through the door. See you around, Lawin.
He just waves his finger around the room. I'm still calling OSHA on you. And then he's going to float on through and explore the rest of the place.
As the door closes behind Lawin, we cut to a different door. Door to the main hall of our heroes over at the Epic. And cut inside to a new morning as Titanica, Overdrive, and Mr. Universe, you wake from restless sleep to a new day and an appointment with a tailor. How do we find our heroes?
I
Ordering
think
breakfast.
Titanica.
Go ahead, Titanica.
I think Titanica actually got a decent night's sleep, curled up in her little nook, and is well rested and sort of just taking that moment of peace before things go as wild as she thinks they're going to.
Fair enough. How did Bastian do, and how is he this morning?
Bastian is not as per normal this past week at least. Did not sleep well. Looks a bit groggy, but trying to push through. Already has a cup of coffee in his hand as he's making an order for breakfast to be delivered.
And how's Overdrive this morning?
Overdrive has a vibe of calm to her. She's not calm. I don't know how well the others will know this, but her cybernetic screens currently just show like almost like what looks like gentle waves in the ocean, and but she has spent a good half an hour this morning like curating that emotional state. She did not sleep that well. So she probably a bit later than everyone else leaves her room, feeling a bit more under control, and heads for coffee, as is always the first thing that needs doing.
Between your gathering of coffee and delivery of breakfast goodies from the Green Ronin Cafe arrive. Um, a spread of some of Bastian's favorites, along with a few other extra goodies, as there's a little note in there uh, from uh, the staff going, keep your chin up, and there's a number of extra muffins that have been added to your order.
Love
So
those guys.
you guys have your fill, but
Bastian
I'm
does
curious.
make tea for Jet, by the way,
We'll get to Jet in a bit.
out of habit.
We'll get to Jet in a bit. But yeah, no, it's a rather calm, quiet morning. You have your breakfast, your coffee, your tea. And as you are finishing, who had the French toast? Let me just ask that. Okay, Overdrive. As you finish the French toast, between the remnants of the French toast, whatever syrup or butter you used, there's just a note on your plate. It's very clear. It just states, "Jet will be delayed."
Hold it up. Should this be reassuring or more ominous? And I turn around to everyone else. Is that normal delivery of information by toast? I feel like we could have texted.
Bastian looks up as she lifts the plate and is like half putting a piece of sausage in his mouth, and he just sort of cocks his head as one eye squints. Yep, that seems par for the course as of late. Hope she's all right. As he continues to stuff his face.
Okay, good to know. I just pour extra syrup over the top of it. Just douse everything and the message.
That valid and such a mood.
You could say that cryptic messages are some people's bread and butter.
I will get my vengeance. Righteous vengeance.
Nino's left.
Yep, Nino did the right thing.
Done.
So, as breakfast ends, I think we see everyone getting themselves ready for going and picking up whatever's at that bizarre tailor's. But I want to zoom in on Mr. Universe and Overdrive in this quiet moment in the morning before what is assuredly a strange and dangerous trip.
Bastian has distinct bags under his eyes, although his face is clearly attempting to make make it look like a fairly normal morning. He still has not had a shower yet, however.
So,
Very unkempt.
okay. So Overdrive is gonna take a moment where maybe Titanica's gone to get ready for the pickup or something. And she's gonna shift her seat over next to Bastian and just give like a perhaps slightly too too hard a friendly punch on the shoulder. Be like, hey, you alright? You look like crap.
The punch hits just as, again, he was starting to put some egg in his mouth, and this just jars over. Oh, I wasn't eating or anything, thank you. Appreciate you. He puts the
Always.
fork down, though. I'm not... You know what? How are you? How are you? How are you?
That's not how this works. How about
Much easier,
deal?
right?
I'll tell you how I am. You have to go first, because I got my question in first.
Touche. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Overdrive sort of takes a deep breath. And says, slightly too jovially, of anything in particular, or just, you know, the state of everything?
I almost not existed. Yes, yesterday? Was it yesterday? It all blends together. Just not existed. For the briefest of moments, my hand, my very own hand, just, it wasn't there. And it's not that it wasn't there, it was never there. It was never created, it was never destroyed, it just didn't exist. How does something not exist, but the rest is still there?
Okay.
How does
So
that
I'm guessing
work?
this isn't an overly elaborate metaphor.
No. I thought I made a brilliant leap, and you know how brilliant I can be. I made a brilliant leap that I could reopen a door to someplace. And so I looked at that door over there where Lawin went to, and I attempted to open that door again to where he went. And you know what happened? It didn't work. Big surprise there. Instead, I became not. And that's an actual statement that I have to contend with. I became nothing. Nothing. It was uncomfortable, to say the least. Thankfully, the powers that be, whatever they are, decided that it was not time for me to not be, and decided to intervene. So I appreciate them for that. It was a bit awkward, I can assure you. I kind of wanted to cry a lot. I think I may have at some point last night, to be honest. But yes,
Okay.
this thing, whatever this thing is that decided that I should have had some kind of capability, they were completely wrong. I do not deserve any of this. I don't want it. How do I give it back?
And that's what we needed to get to. I got bad news for you. Maybe you didn't deserve it. Maybe you didn't want it. But you got it. And, I mean, I'm not great at rousing speeches, and I feel like, you know, that's maybe not the best way to start off, but I don't know if I believe in, you know, super higher powers or destiny. Stuff happens, and definitely there's weird things. So I can't say whether or not you definitely deserved it. You should have it. I mean, to me, that doesn't matter. The point is you do. And okay, so I don't know how well you remember when we first met. It was, let me say, a bit of a mess. But I didn't know what was going on. You look like shit. I look like shit. Everything was just terrible. But I remember saying to you, like, we can do this. We will figure this out. And at the time, I had no idea why I said that. Like, it wasn't that it was a lie, or I was just saying it to make you feel better, but I mean, I didn't know you. But maybe I could just tell we were gonna figure out how to get through it, because that's what we do. We are more resilient than we think we are. And maybe sitting here now, it seems like you shouldn't have any of these things. But you do, and look at everything you've managed since then. You know? I mean, I believe in you. And at the very least, you're stubborn enough to get through it. I can believe in that for sure. We share that.
And in this beautiful speech, we get these panels of the team as a whole fighting together. And we get a montage of moments of Mr. Universe, Overdrive, Jettica, Jet, Lawin. But a lot of Mr. Universe in succeeding at foiling foe after foe, protecting the city, repairing what is broken. It's been 300 plus issues, folks. Bastian may not remember, but Overdrive does. And then we turn the page, and we see those series of paintings that we did before in Jet's home. Figures of wax men coming forth into the foreground. But then, as we move through the paintings, the mid-ground is a far more well-dressed and infernal figure that is grabbing the attention of the eye and then pointing to a door. A door in Jet's apartment, a door that Jet went through. And now we see where that door has led. The interior looks like a well-appointed apartment. Very nice furniture, beautiful fireplace, floor of black marble, white leather furniture, large oak table, few chairs, and standing in power suit is that same infernal feminine figure, hand over fist, and we see upon their ring finger on the right hand a ring made as best described as iron thorns and barbed wire, with a single garnet rose in the center. Wow, you've been busy. So nice of you to show up, Jettica Jones.
I was invited, to my knowledge.
Oh, yes, you were. It seems you've been busy between hounding my former student and unleashing an unwanted force into the mix of things.
Which I now need to fix.
Oh, yes.
And I think you can help with that. For a price, of course.
Of course. I respect the king's ambition, but ambition has its place. And what he wants throws too much astray. There's an order to things, and I like things tidy. And just to punctuate that sentence, we hear screams coming from another door. And she smiles. I enjoy magic, sensuality, temptation, corruption, and punishment. But in order to enjoy these things to serve my purpose, things need to be in the proper places. Things need to have a proper order. And you have welcomed disorder into one of the realms. But yes, you are right, I can help you. And yes, you are right, there's a price. But I'm not interested in your soul. That's someone else's game, at least for you. But I can
Then
give you the
what
power
do
that you need.
Alright, go ahead.
I like the idea. I can give you the power you need, and then that, like, before Need's finished, Jet interjects. Finish that sentence, please.
What? Just name whatever the price is. I'm not a fan of chaos either. I like things in their place as well. It was not my intention to invite this disorder. But, as much as I can remember, I had no choice.
Rats in a trap rarely do. Clawed hands going over the sides of chairs as she moves closer to you. You can feel the heat coming off of this individual. It is bright, searing. What I want that you might be able to provide is I want a very particular individual severely inconvenienced, as well as you to fix your mistake. I want the Hell Warden out of the picture when it comes to the Mad City, and for the mention from which you hail, I want him walked out.
Does Jettica know anything about the Hell Warden from any of her previous reading?
Give me a magic check.
Those have gone so well. Cool.
18.
18?
That's not bad. That's not bad. This is obscure, though. The Hell Warden is a title that comes with another a place. They are a keeper of one of the great houses. By that, I mean one of the nexi to the greater multiverse. There are 3 houses whose names you know. There's the House of Mystery, the House of Secrets, and the House of the Rising Sun. The Hell Warden is the keeper to the House of Secrets, and as such has a part to play, almost like a multiversal goalie, in that they keep the wrong things where they should be, and the right things where they should be. Almost an agent of fate. At least that's what they were described in another age. But they are very powerful. They are very cunning. And while oftentimes they work alone, they have many allies. But it makes perfect sense why she would want this. If she has a play in mind, or more likely vengeance in mind for what this individual may have done to her, it all makes sense.
So you want the rule keeper out of commission for a while so you can change the rules. That about right?
Not quite. I just don't want him inconveniencing me at inappropriate times.
Am I to deal with him with my own power as it stands, or are you also going to help me with that?
Oh, you will be empowered. No need to worry about that. And clawed hand reaches out to the back of yours. Do we have an accord?
Jet'll look at is it they them? She her? What were the pronouns?
They use all.
Oh, okay.
It's whatever their mood strikes them.
Fair enough. Jet will look at them, kind of cock her head for a moment. We have an accord. There are things to do.
Excellent. As one of the claws digs into the back of your hand, it burns. It tingles. And from that burning sensation, all of a sudden there's this painful cold. As you look, and for a moment, upon your skin, there's a similar sort of ink that you use for your wounds, but this time it's a different rune, one you recognize. And it's just the rune for power. And Jet's learned enough to know to look for the small things. And the eyes wander from that to the ring, which now has an additional band on Elizatrix's hand. Well then, I shouldn't keep you any longer. There's the door. Be mindful of the denizens of the city. They're at constant war, and they will know that you don't belong there. You're not one of them, and you're not one of the awake. So they will respond with either fear or hostility. Stay away from the taxman when the officer talk. You should be fine. Find your fellows, make your way to the Hall of the Wax King, and bind him.
I would think that was rather obvious. Are you in the market to make deals with fools? And with that, Jet will leave.
And as you walk out the door, because a demon always has to get the last word, I made one with you. And just a cup of some sort of red liquid reaches the Lizardtrix's lips. As Jet walks out, and we see for the first time the Mad City proper. Towering skyscrapers, far beyond what the eye can see as their tops. It is a city bathed in that dirty amber light of street lamps. There is a distinct smell of wet on the wind. Sound of old cars and horns blown from ages past. It is a bustling place, an unsettling place. Things are not what they seem. And in the alleyway, between two of these massive skyscrapers, stands Jettica Jones, alone. And then we turn the page. We see Lawin, deeper in the den of the Wax King, an empire built on currency the Wax King mints. As Lawin has stumbled into one of those mints, going through the darkened hallways, there's this press of steam and air as all that wax from all those pipes is being pushed through this machine that just makes these perfect hardened wax discs about the size of a 50-cent piece, and just run along conveyors into bins. That's where we find Lawin. What you up to, friend?
Lawin is half-heartedly looking for a way out. Seeing is that his host was not polite enough to return him to his home place, he's decided to not be very careful about making his way out of this place. So, you know, his hands will brush across some of the machinery as he makes for the next door, and he will send jolts of electricity through the machines in order to maybe short circuit them in some fashion.
Yeah, just in that case, just give me an attack roll. Let's see what damage Lawin does to the operation. All right. Jeez, 33. Okay. Well, there is a pulse. Lawin is obviously in a mood. as gears begin to lock. Overpressure in some of the pipes causes them to burst, and the place is become a mess. As this mint, this press, is assuredly out of commission. And with that element of spite, red lights begin to blink on and spin. The hue to this place that was once bathed in candlelight. All of a sudden, the candles dim, and nothing but the red lamps illuminate down below. There is no siren, at least not an audible one. But you've upset the apple cart this time, and you know it. Where does Lawin go?
He's continuing to extend his perception out to each doorway that he happens to go through, looking for a way into the city.
I'm going to keep your previous roll since that was so damn high. It takes you a bit. You rush past as we get cuts and cuts of panels, moving past lower functionaries. They're confused as to what's going on as Lawin hovers and zooms past. And eventually, through this labyrinthine maze of pipes, doors, corridors, we see Lawin emerge from what looks to be a large sewer access into the city above. Different skyscrapers this time. And then we see one of the quaint features of the Mad City, as each district has an archway and a label. And it seems as though Lawin has found the edge of the entertainment district. We get this cut over this massive district, where at the centerpiece of this place is a giant coliseum amidst all the skyscrapers, and the litter that tops them. Planes from all different ages, different states of disrepair, just hang in the sky or crashed into these skyscrapers, making a almost canopy to the city. And then we turn the page. We're back at Epic. We're back with our three heroes after a heart-to-heart between Overdrive and Mr. Universe. We see the three gather up their things. And Titanica, what brick wall are you going to use today?
It's another case of literally whatever the closest brick wall I can think of is.
And on one of the lower floors, as sort of a nifty edifice to a law firm, they have within one of the hallways transitions from, drywall to brick. just show off the wealth. And this is the law firm of Spencer and Howitt. They're known within the city in dealing with metahuman law, as collateral damage is a thing, folks. Good heavens. So, you find this brick wall outside the offices of Spencer and Howitt. I take it you do the ritual?
Yeah. Yeah, draw the door, whole thing.
And in the early morning, when only the secretaries are in office, this wall opens up and into a place that they're not going to want to fall. As Titanica, and I'm guessing Overdrive and Mr. Universe follow. And you're back in Odin Falls. And that same stout woman greets you as you come in, the ring of the bell at the door. Oh, good. I see you're here for your pickup. Delightful. Should probably just make certain that everything's sized right. Again, we have your measurements, but with now human bodies, things can just change in any given moment. So let's get these on, make sure that everything's fitted properly, and then we can talk about payment and get you on your way.
Sounds good.
And so we get these fitting montage as you guys are fitted for, as my note says, stuff for movement. So go ahead and describe your outfits that this supernatural tailor has put together for the two of you.
So I think for Titanica, it is essentially because you talked about meeting with royalty. It's very almost a suit where it's like a high-waisted slacks and decorative vest, all in the same pastel blue that her suit is normally in, over a white button-up blouse that she sort of rolls up to show off her forearms. And the shoes are a like clunky heeled boot that at first looks like it might be inappropriate, but is actually just well balanced and has like proper ankle support. So it's a very like James Bond style suit.
I am here for Titanic and James Bond style suit. I am all here for this. And what do we see of Overdrive's ensemble?
So, I think during the process of getting these suits, Overdrive really did not know what was going on and what she wanted. And so a lot of the time she was just sort of like being like, oh yeah, like what Titanic is having, like same as that. But then like anything that becomes like, you know, too much of a color, she's like, oh wait, no, but like that, but without that, or no heels. So it's also a suit, but it's just it's mismatching. It's like different styles put together, because she had no idea what she was saying, and so her instructions were also very mishmashed. So it's like the bad version of, whereas Titanica looks like Bond and in style. Overdrive looks very uncomfortable in, like she's gone for like 4 different styles at once.
I like this idea of this quarterly getting into heraldry semantics. This quarterly sort of suit. So this suit of 4 quarters, not just the jacket, but also like the pants, are done in 4 quadrants. And it's a mishmash. It's a look. It's definitely a look. Um, uh, it's well fitted, but it it definitely catches the eye.
Mm-hmm. Overdrive is like looking over to Bastian and is like, if you laugh, I will disintegrate you myself. And then she'll wink.
So, does everything meet with your approval?
Feels great.
Excellent. Always glad to have a happy customer. Now, as for payments, seems someone's been in and paid for these. So you're free to go.
Fair enough.
That's awkward.
You wouldn't happen to be able to tell us how to get where we're going?
Oh, just go through the door. That'll get you to the city.
Excellent. Thank you.
Careful. Have a good day.
Excuse me.
They didn't happen to leave a name, did they? That person that paid.
A title. It's the Summer Night.
It's very sweet of them.
You were going to
pardon
ask
me.
something, good sir. Yes.
Do I need a suit?
You don't need one. It's just advised.
You should definitely get one.
Oh, yes. How much is a suit?
Well, considering this would be definitely a express order, I don't suppose you have a firstborn child you're looking to get rid of.
No. No.
You don't have a
I
loved
have,
one that you have accidentally turned into a swan.
This isn't like a typical money exchange option, is there?
No, most currencies don't hold up when you're transdimensional.
Yeah, of course not. Couldn't be that. Yeah, okay.
Hey, maybe
I've got
you don't.
plenty. I've got plenty of
Say maybe you
nightmares.
don't
Do you
need
want
a suit.
those?
Nightmares are poor currency. They don't give very good exchanges.
Yeah, tell me about it. Okay. No suit for me. Thank you kindly. This is gonna be
All right.
awesome.
You just have to get a baby goat, name them Odette, and put them in a swan costume. It's perfect.
But odd that note. We see our three heroes too in some interesting threads. Yes, to Overdrive?
I was just gonna say, as we leave and we step out the brick wall, Overdrive is gonna shrug off the jacket part of hers and be like, "Hey, look, we can share," and then drape that over his shoulders.
Oh,
Nice.
oh no. I think this style remains on your shoulders.
Not anymore. And I'm gonna sidestep if he
Whatever
tries to do it back.
whatever life-threatening thing could possibly happen does not need this style to be on me.
Hey, look,
Okay.
it's a gift. You can't reject it.
Yes, of course. Okay.
As there's this fight, as they spill out of the doorway and into the Mad City, it is in that struggle that things go awry. quite awry. As we get these quick cuts of that brick wall, that special door, and it cuts to 3 different alleyways within the Mad City. As Mr. Universe ends up in one, Overdrive ends up in another, and Titanica yet another. All of our heroes are in the Mad City. All of them separated. Different places, large skyscrapers. And a city populated with nightmares. And worse. And on that note, I think that's where we're going to take a break, folks. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to Weave the Tale as we continue on with Paradise City Sewers Mutants Masterminds actual play. Our heroes are now all in the Mad City, a place of nightmares given form, where the forgotten go to be forgotten and become one with this place outside the city slumbering, outside of the reality that we know and hold dear, and in the court of dreams and terrors. And on that note of dream and terror, I think we turn the page and we see Jet. It's a brand new place. You find yourself in an alley. Skyscrapers all around you. What do you do? Where do you go?
First thing Jet's gonna try and do is see if our comms work here, like our team comms. Try and call somebody.
You try and call, and instead of getting even static or nothing, it's just really loud mariachi music. As soon as you try and tune the comm, it's just blaring right in your ear.
Figures. Plan B. We go on foot. And Jet's going to activate her speed defensive rune and start booking it. Because she's been warned, they will not take kindly to her. So it's like, nope, we're not talking to people.
You start booking it, and you are moving incredibly fast until you hit the sidewalk. And then everything slows back to normal.
Does her magic not work here? Is that like she's gonna try and activate a different defensive one, see if that works?
Which defensive room?
The protection one.
Protection one seems to activate and work
Okay.
just fine.
Speed
It
one,
seems
not
as
so
though
much.
there are laws here about specific places, and it interacts with your magic. Strange way.
Fantastic.
Like a sidewalk is made for walking.
What about roofs? Are roofs speed restricted? Could she
You'd have to
climb
get
like a
to one.
fire? Is there like a fire escape she can try and climb and see if the roofs are speed limited?
Yeah, you can go and try and jump up onto a fire escape back in the alley and see about going up.
That's what she's gonna try.
All right, just give me a quick athletics roll to make that like superhero leap up to the fire escape.
Yeah, why do I pick things I'm not good at? I'll never know. Hey, that's pretty good for her.
That's solid. You make it. You make the leap, and you get on the fire escape. We have this wonderful panel of Jet climbing up rung after rung, and then getting onto the fire escape proper. And that's when we get a different panel. Panel higher above, in shadow on the same fire escape. And silhouettes of figures with not a modern fashion sense, something far more 1920s, 1930s, they're the height of 12-year-olds, but they have like the beards of a man in his 40s, beady eyes, red pips at the center, like glowing coals. They look like that uncle you don't like crossed with your high school bully. And they look down, waiting for Jet to come up. And then you turn the page.
Awesome.
Lawin, you're in the Mad City. What do you do?
So did he come up from like a sewer access, like a manhole, to get into this spot?
No, it's far more larger than a manhole. It's one of those like, okay, we're going to have to go down and get that fatberg that has built up, sort of like large double doors that lead to stairs, and then that like massive hatch that is also a door is what Lawin came out of.
Okay. Was there anyone that observed him climbing out of this?
You saw some rats. Now, normally this wouldn't be anything to pay any mind, but you're fairly certain that one of the rats was wearing a Santa hat.
Interesting. So I think what he is going to do is he's immediately going to fly upward so he can get a broader view of the space.
You begin to fly. And first, it's all like normal. You're incredibly fast. But for a while, it seems almost like the skyscrapers are trying to keep up with you. There's movement, as though the world is trying to keep you at a specific height. And it goes on for a while. Do you keep flying?
He's going to stop, and then he's just going to look around at all of the buildings, see if there's anybody on the rooftops. If he can even see a rooftop.
Where you stop, you can see a few rooftops. Not many. Again, this is a place of myriad skyscrapers. But you can see off into the distance. You see that Colosseum. You're also at the height to see that there's... Is that a Zeppelin? With a digital billboard on it? Yeah, that's definitely a Zeppelin with a billboard. It's advertising Zap Cola? Energy in a can. So much even the gods will tremble. And that's in the distance. You also see like what looks like it might be in 1940s style brick building, probably holds a print shop. And then like what's obviously like a 8-story apartment building. But those are the only roofs they can really see from your vantage point.
Okay. So Lawin's curiosity is piqued, and he's going to make his way to the Colosseum.
We have this panel of Lawin zooming, and there's a lot of these Zeppelins, all with different ads, like Gamma Pants. You wouldn't like me when I'm naked, or Mongoose Blood, for when you need to really go. There are all these bizarre ads as you go nearer and nearer the Colosseum. And what?
Out of
Lawin-
curiosity,
Yes.
what would be the ad that Lawin sees would be the most offensive to his sensibilities?
Oh, offensive to Lawin's sensibilities. Ooh, I feel challenged. It would be an ad for something like an MMA bout between rock, paper, scissors, and the brick wall. It's literally just a rock, a paper, and some scissors, and a brick wall. That's going to be happening at the place called, let's see here, the Stapler Gardens.
Yeah, okay. So that particular Zeppelin, Lawin is going to fly right through it.
It goes up in a set of sparks, and it definitely looks like it's going to crash land as you fly through it, and then, strangely enough, a flock of seagulls with some very 80s hair come by and just grab hold of the crashing Zeppelin and drag it off.
Pause for a second. Did you just say flock of eagles with 80s hair? Did you just do that? Is that what just happened?
Flock of seagulls
Is that
with
what
very
happened?
80s hair, yes. That's
Yeah,
what
no,
happened.
do you think
I
I'm
told you
going to
I'd
let
get my
that
revenge.
pass with no comment? Is that what you think is going to happen?
Effectively carrying a lead Zeppelin, by the way.
No, the Led Zeppelins are in a different district.
Moving on.
So, Lawin passes through this offensive series of advertisements and sees a visual pun that is offensive to everyone's senses. Rescue the Zeppelin. But as he would probably go back and rage at these birds, there's a roar from the Colosseum. Not the roar of a crowd, roar of something big, primordial, mechanized. And we peer down, and what can best be described as a remnant of 80s and 90s Coliseum culture here in America. A Truckzilla is currently doing battle against a series of Transformer monster trucks in this grand Coliseum, this great arena. Bits and sparks flying, fire going everywhere. It's quite the spectacle.
But Lawin doesn't hate it. But he is going to float above some of the crowd, and he's just going to scan crowds, see if there are any luxury boxes, people of importance that you might recognize.
Okay, I accept your challenge. There are a number of luxury boxes at different levels. Some are high up, much like how we recognize, the sky boxes of today in arenas. And then there's like a few that are closer to the edge of where the Coliseum dips down. Those like front row boxes. Most of the sky boxes, the high places, there's not that many people in those, but there's a few. Um, what can best be described as a neon green destro and a baroness with pink hair is in one of the skyboxes. Um, and then in another box, there is a individual that instead of, where the head would be, there is just a full body pug, like the full thing, like tail, everything. That's where the in place of the head, and then at the center of its body is attached to a neck. And in that box with them is a number of beings similarly strange in that they're humanoid frames, all well dressed, all have ties. Paisley. And in place of their heads are different things. Most of them appear to be some form of squeaky toy. And then in the last of the populated skyboxes for this evening's entertainment, it's just a giant can of Pepsi. It's just a big one in a chair. You see just the can of Pepsi, and you just instinctively know it has eyes and a mouth, but you do not perceive them. But you know that it's smiling at the carnage below. Then we get to the side boxes, and those are mostly not populated for this evening's event, save one, where there sits something to be described as a Caesar made of Little Caesar's pizza boxes. And beside him, watching this spectacle, is a feminine figure that looks to be made up of different Chanel bottles.
So you're telling me that the Caesar box man is eating up? I think the Lawin's gonna float over to the Pepsi box. He's just gonna ask flat out, "Excuse me, could you tell me which box belongs to the Wax King?"
And you hear in your head this effervescent voice. I cannot do it justice. It is not meant for mortal ears to hear. But in this bubbly, gurgly tone, in your head, oh, the Wax King, he is not allowed on the surface. He has no box here.
It's unfortunate. Does he have a representative somewhere around here?
Oh, more than likely, well, not here in the Colosseum. Wax King is at constant war with the paper boys. Find a paper boy, you'll probably find one of his servitors.
Could you tell me where the paper boys can be found typically?
You can look for the Bazaar. You can look for occasionally on roofs. They end up in most street corners around the 13th hour.
Lawin's gonna look around for a clock.
And You get a panel. And between the jungle of skyscrapers, soon as you want to find a clock, the maze in your sight parts, and you look towards what you instinctively know is the center of this city. And there is a clock tower. It sits atop a large office building. But it's strange. It's an office building, but it says high school beneath the clock. And currently, it's a little after 11 p.m. This clock goes to 13.
All right. One last question. Could you point me to the bizarre bazaar?
Oh, it moves, but I think it's... This being does not have hands, but you know it's gesturing. And it mentally points you north. You think it's north. You know it's north. That way.
Ah, thank you. Been most kind. You know Coca-Cola, but, you know, you'll do in a pinch. And at that, Lawin's just going to soar off to the northern direction.
We turn the page. And we catch up with Overdrive. You're in an alleyway. It is illuminated by that distinctly urban, like amber yellow light. It's dingy, it's dank. And you see the skyscrapers above. What do you do?
Pretty much as soon as I notice my teammates aren't here, there is a reasonable amount of swearing. And then getting myself under control. And I'm gonna quietly move towards the end of the alley to get a bit of a better look at where I am.
You get to the end of the alley, and it's strange. When you were looking down the alleyway, it just looked like it was a normal city street in any sort of metropolis in the world. Nondescript, unpopulated, dingy yellow light. But as soon as your feet touch the sidewalk, it's like you've been put in a vertigo spin. And as your senses come back to you, there is a raucous sound to your right side. Roaring of carnival-like music. But even closer is the sound of a hurdy-gurdy, grinding out circus-like tune. And as your head turns in its direction, you see a large emperor penguin playing this hurdy-gurdy. As your vision widens, there's a number of stalls on opposite sides of the street, and then ending after a few of these stalls is a bunch of tents. A massive bazaar before you.
I muttered to myself, well, as far as everything I was worrying would be the first thing I saw in Nightmare, Penguin was not on the list, but also, I mean, I can handle that. And I'm gonna head towards, like, this massive tent.
And as you head towards these tents, as you're passing by all these stalls, you hear cry out in this booming voice, "Get your nuts! Get your nervous nuts here! Hot nuts! Get your nervous nuts! Get them while they're fresh!" And your eyes meet with... If Joe Pesci was a squirrel, this is the entity that you see. Like, wearing a toque, done up. It's not cold, but he's done up like it's winter. And he's there with a bunch of other squirrels that are tending to this nut stall.
I'm gonna go over and have a closer look. Does it look like just normal, like, nuts?
They look like nuts. They smell like nuts. But again, you're dealing with a bunch of... Again, they're squirrels. They're the size of squirrels. But there is a distinctively human voice and a human intelligence behind these critters. And one of them just loudly hawking, "Get your nervous nuts here! Nervous nuts! Get them fresh!"
So, I'm gonna go over to the guy, the squirrel-sized guy that is yelling, and just be like, excuse me, 2 questions. 1, are these nervous nuts because the nuts are nervous, or because they make you nervous when you eat them?
Yes.
And also, where the hell am I?
You're in the Bazaar. Well, the gateway to the Bazaar. And yes, the answer is yes.
Yes to which?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, never mind. The Bazaar, that makes sense. I mean, apt, at least. You don't... I mean, I have some friends that are hopefully somewhere around here. Is the Bazaar a well-known place in this world?
It's the place you go. It's the largest market in the city. Most people end up here, or Denny's.
Damn it. Denny's. Where's the Denny's? That's where they would go.
You'll find it. You just end up there.
Okay.
Just walk in a random direction, and you will end up at a Denny's.
So a normal Denny's. Okay, got it. Well, that's fine then. I guess I'll just wander, and we'll probably end up at the same place. Thanks, but no nervous nuts for me. Have a good day. And I'm gonna wander further into
some,
the
like,
bazaar.
As you're walking away, can I interest you in some treachery nuts? Boiled. Still good?
I'm like, no.
Damn it.
I am not eating a single thing from this place. Yeah, and I'm gonna just head into the biggest throng of brightness and looking things.
So you head into the bazaar. It is filled with all sorts of very strange sights. You have a number of essentially like signs littering this tented hallway. Smaller tents off to the side of each of these signs. Some are advertising lost hopes, the knitted dreams of babies. There's a Build-A-Bear. Like, there's all sorts of places that just bombard your eyes. And there's this melange of smells. It's like all the things of elements of childhood that were sold to you when you were young, all conglomerate one that's just driving this sensation of want, of need in you as you walk further and further in. And then we turn the page. And we see Mr. Universe. Different alleyway. All on his lonesome.
Touches his earpiece. Overdrive.
Loud mariachi music just blares into your ear.
Ow, ow, bad music, bad music. Yay, team. Okay, all right, everything's fine. Takes a deep breath. He gets a sense of his immediate surroundings. Does it feel normal in any way? Does it?
Your senses, as you are tied into cosmological fact, the laws of physics are part of who you are. This place defies all reason.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Like, at one moment, up is down, down is left, left is inside. It is just bombarding your senses that this place makes no sense. And you feel it. You feel the wrongness in your very being.
All right. So yeah, even as he's standing there, and that feeling of fundamental disorientation is occurring. He's sort of wobbling like a drunk man in this alley, trying to find some stability. Is there, just out of random curiosity, is there some sort of like trash pile in this alleyway?
Of course there is.
Okay.
There's
perfect.
a trash pile in every alleyway.
Yeah, silly question, I understand. So he's going to attempt just a little trick to lift up a trash bag.
You don't even have to roll. You reach out and you grasp. This is a sensation you know before. You've practiced this.
Good start. It's a good start.
And for a moment, it all goes right. You grab hold.
Right.
It has the right sensation. It has the right lift. And then all of a sudden, reality blinks and you know that you did the thing. But it feels as though, I know it is, that it's a few seconds earlier before you did the thing.
Okay, that was unnecessary. Unnecessary. There is a 1 + 1 to this, and you are adding it to 5. Come on. He's gonna give it one more try to see if he can find some sort of normalcy. this time he reaches out and he still gets that same feeling, and it does lift, but the bag begins to turn to water and soaking the rest of the trash. And he just sort of looks at it. All right, well, don't fly. Don't fly. Got it. That's my new rule. Don't fly. Okay. He will immediately start to walk out to the main street with this patchwork jacket that he's now wearing.
Soon as your feet hit sidewalk, your orientation changes. There is now a solid down. Sidewalk is down. You have a ground. And up is up. Left and right, north, east, west, that's all weird. But there is down, there is an up. Now with your feet on the sidewalk. It's a long stretch of skyscrapers along this roadway, on this sidewalk that is mostly empty. There is a newspaper stall, and there is a gentleman that's just setting down one of the papers. He just kind of like gestures at the person working the stall. You don't have a good line of sight on the person working the stall. And then he just turns, looks at you. He looks like a normal person. Okay dressed. A bit warmer, dressed warmer than what you would feel. Like it's warm here, but he's dressed in like a really nice knitted sweater, black slacks, black shoes. Smiles at you. And you feel somewhat at ease, but there's something off. What do you do?
Bastian just looks at the individual and smiles back and starts walking in that direction.
Oh, you're definitely not from around here.
Whatever gave you that idea?
You're not awake. And you're not lost. Well, not the proper form of lost.
Those are two very astute statements. Whatever gave you that idea or a realization?
Oh, I'm the kindly stranger.
That you're just the kindly stranger?
Yes. There are many of me and my brothers, but I'm the kindly one.
Okay. So are we talking like conceptually the kind stranger type?
Possibly. Probably.
Okay. You know what? I'm willing to go with it. Listen, I need to find my friends, and maybe you can help me.
Oh, I'm already helping you, but sure, let's go further with this. I'm guessing your friends are like you. They don't belong here.
I mean, that's probably a fair assessment. I mean, one or two might. Probably not, though.
Well, there are a few places to look. You could wander aimlessly and end up at the Denny's. You could head for the bazaar. Almost anything can be found at the bazaar, even your friends. You could go for the church. that's when all hope is lost. Head for the church. Or you can try and
Oh, we're not that bad
use your
yet.
abilities. You could head to the rooftops, try and make sense of things there.
Ooh, yeah. My abilities in this place don't seem to mesh very well.
Well, yes, if you're off, there are rules to this place. You can't step on the roads
Ah.
unless you're in the car. If you're on a sidewalk, well, you're meant to walk. If you have the ability to fly, start on a sidewalk and you can go up. And then you can go off to the side once you hit the roofs. If you can hit the roofs. They're competitive, the skyscrapers. They don't like people getting ahead of them. But eventually they give up.
Ah.
And then
okay.
you get to
All right.
get up to the top.
Okay, I'm understanding this now. I get it. Are these rules subject to change, or are they pretty static?
Static until the 13th hour. Then everything changes.
Okay. You just threw a wrench into my little happy space. 13th hour? What happens at the 13th hour?
Say it goes into lockdown. Again,
It goes
we
into
have the
what?
13th lockdown because, well, the city stole the 13th hour from the sleeping world. So it only exists here. And the things that only exist during the 13th hour then exist here.
So where do you recommend we should be at the 13th hour?
Not here. If you're here,
It
well,
would
don't try and open a door. Not for a full hour. That's how you get Mother Wen and her ladies in hating. Don't do that.
Oh, I have so many questions. Okay, so just be in some place. Don't open a door for an hour. How long until the 13th hour?
Looks like you've got 90 minutes.
90. Well, shit. Thank you, kind stranger. You've been very helpful. One last confirmation. If I just go in someplace like a diner and sit there for an hour at the 13th hour, will that be sufficiently secure, safe place?
Depends on the diner.
Oh, God. Okay. Touche. Well played.
Good luck.
He will look at the news stall. Is there something like
Mhm.
akin to a map?
Your mind says it's a map, but your eyes tell you it's a giant sort of like sundial-like thing. It's
All right, I'll take it.
like round, one thing or another. Oh, okay. Finally, the person who. Oh, you want a map? And the figure turns that's working the stall, and you come face to face with a massive teddy bear smoking a stogie. Oh, you want a map? Okay. That's at least 3 lint, please.
3 lint? Okay, I got lint. Bastion reaches into his pocket and pulls out every piece of lint he can find. Is that enough?
Yeah. It just takes the entire thing that you grabbed. Have fun with your map.
Thank you.
Remember, shift it to the right every hour.
Okay. Right, got it. looking at the kind stranger one last time. So if I have to shift it to the right, and he tries to adjust it to the 90-minute prior to, or the hour prior to the 13th, or 2 hours prior to the 13th. Is this about the right position it should be in?
That's it for now.
Okay. In about 30 minutes, I'll have to. Got it. Thank you. Have a good day. And he will. He's gonna look at the building, completely not caring whatever else is around, and he's gonna look straight at the building and say, "Listen, I'm not up for a race. I just need to get to your roof. So you stay. I'm gonna take it slow. You're a winner. You are the winner here. I want you to understand this. You're the winner."
Roll me a
Go to.
persuasion check.
Oh, okay. Sure.
You're not certain, but you think
It's
that
not gonna
the
go well.
building just... Buildings don't have engines, but you're pretty sure this one just revved one at you.
And Kim, okay, he's just gonna go down to the next building, and he's gonna try again. Be like, "Listen, that one over there, really in a race mood. I just need to get to the top of you. If you can race. We can race another day if you want. I'm just trying to get my bearings and find my friends. Could you help me out here? I mean, if you want, I'll take the stairs, but it's just easier if I just go straight up. Are you gonna work with me here?"
And we turn the page, and the next panel is Mr. Universe at the top of this building. And then you realize the good and ill of this place. As, yeah, there's a roof, but connecting all of the roofs of this skyscraper jungle is a litany of aircraft that has all crashed into one another, interweaved like the canopy of a great forest. There are so many doors here, so many windows, and your orientation only tells you one thing. Down is down, but every place else, who knows? And we turn the page, and we see Titanica, all alone in an alleyway, much like the rest of her compatriots. What does she do?
Well, I think her first instinct is to try to climb a building. Like, she's got wall crawling, just walk over and start clambering up.
You begin to climber up. There's nothing much to it. I mean, you have the strength, you have the will, you have the capability. And for the first 10 minutes or so, everything seems fine. But then you notice that you're passing the same windows after the next 10 minutes. Like, you don't seem you're getting any higher, but you know you're going higher.
Okay. That didn't work. Plan B. So she will sort of quickly quickly climb down, not being super careful, but back to the street. And then try to look around and see what looks significant. So sort of try to figure out if the city's architecture will lead her where she needs to go.
The city's a weird place. As you get to the street, a pristine Model T passes as a Lamborghini then zooms off down the opposite way. You are fairly certain the person driving the Model T has a head of an ibis, but you're not entirely certain. And you survey the street. Most everything is skyscrapers, large, massive metal and concrete edifices. Except one. What looks to be at the end of the block that you're on. There's a wood house with a red door.
At this point, I gotta assume that different is going to be what everyone would go to, so I will go to the thing that's different.
You walk on up. It's no surprise with your immense frame that the wood beneath your feet creaks loudly, almost to the point of being cinematic. As you make your way to the door, but as you get to the door, it seems the porch stretches in height to accommodate your frame, to make things comfortable, homey. As you get to the door, what do?
I'll knock.
Just a moment. And door opens. There you are. Been looking all over for you. A figure dressed in an immaculate black three-piece suit, red tie, striking purple eyes, looks at you.
Why were you looking for me?
Your family needs you. Well, the cosmos needs you, but that's an obvious thing. Come in.
Oh, I will head inside.
And my dear reader, we've been here before. Not but a little while ago did we walk into the House of Secrets. Into the charge, the keeper, the Hell Warden, Arthur Addison, the one who pulled Mr. Universe from disintegration. This is he, and this is the House of Secrets. Large stuffed bear in the corner as we come into the foyer, fireplace burning. But the house seems to have stretched to accommodate Titanica's significant frame. Yes, been looking all over for you. Of course, you'd end up in a place that I don't have an open invitation for.
That's the way of things.
So tell me, what do you remember about your parents?
Well, I don't remember much about my mom. And then, my dad is mostly just sits in his office and yells at people on a phone, but that's what industrialists do.
That's what giants of industry do. He just kind of smiles. A coy smile. Well, before I send you off into certain danger and you do what you do best, can I offer you something? Cake, orange juice? Hungry?
Um, I mean, I, no, I'm fine. Um, I guess I do have other responsibilities. I hope they're gonna be okay. They'll probably be fine.
Probably, mostly. As we see in our panel with his fingers crossed behind his back. Um, I'm certain they'll be fine. Certain. Um, as he turns around, um, walks over, pours himself a cup of coffee. So this does have a little something to do with family ties. Um, it seems as though Vanaheim is being besieged. And, well, considering some of your mother's heritage with the veneer, they need your help.
Um, is yeah. I mean, if they need me, I swore to be there, so I will. Is it the Giants?
Oh, if only. Uh, it seems as though things are sliding. Somebody put a crack in the universe, and right now I'm in the midst of trying to patch it, but I can only do so many things all at once. Especially when everyone and their cousin is trying to take advantage. No, how do I put this? There are infinite yous, just as there are infinite me's and infinite places, all shadows and shades. What is happening is someone has destabilized the separations. Instead of things neatly having, as he peers through the tiny gap between his hands, there's these tiny little barriers that keep things separate. As we all make our different choices and each one changes outcomes, butterfly effect, etc., etc.
Sure, M theory. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Now they're touching like seismic plates, and things are flowing over one another. And
That's not great.
no. So, what you and I know as Vanaheim is in conflict with a different Vanaheim.
Oh. Oof. Yeah, that's a problem.
And so you're an anchor, in a manner of speaking. You are tied to Yggdrasil, you're tied to the Opens, you're tied the veneer, you are a stabilizing force. And that's why you're needed. If anyone can help push back the tide, it's you.
Then, I guess, tell me where I have to go.
Let's walk and talk. As he leads you up the stairs, we have panels of you guys passing as we peer into open doors, showing a number of different rooms, secrets once forgotten, like Mask of Heroes Long Dead, a man that we're certain was sidekick to Lord Constantine, is sitting watching Looney Tunes. And we keep passing as we get to two doors, one on the opposite side. One is open, one is closed. The open is what looks like an armory. So, I know you're typically a brawler, but for this you're going to need to probably have something. So, choose your weapon.
I will look in the armory and look around. What sort of stuff's there?
This place is filled with history and armaments from all over the world, or worlds, and time. Warhammers, glaives, katanas. I think that's a freeze ray. Pretty much, if you can imagine it, it's here.
Titanica will close her eyes, spin around in a circle, and reach out and grab the first thing that's in front of her.
And it's a simple thing. Looks simple. It's a quarterstaff. Immaculate and cut and finish, but it has a large engraved motif of the whole of Yggdrasil, including Ratatusk sitting upon one of its many branches. Its ends capped in a very dark iron. Well, it seems you found what you were looking for. You will meet your friends, well, older friends, through that door, as well as a few new ones. Once you need to go this alone, but as for your current compatriots, and he puts his hands in front of himself, I will do my best to make sure that they get out. I cannot guarantee their safety, but I will try.
I appreciate that. I think they're capable enough, and as long as they listen to Jet, they'll be okay.
Well then, here's to you, warrior of the realms.
Safe
May I see you
travels.
again.
May I see you?
And we see Titanica walk through this door, and there's this beautiful full panel landscape that makes Titanica look almost small compared to Vanaheim. Its mountains massive, its valleys pristine with a glimmer of newly fallen snow. Trees, evergreens dotting across the landscape, and this large, crystal clear lake stands in front. But when we look farther and farther to the sky, it darkens and is reddened with fire. But we see a few other doors in the next panel as others walk through and take their places near Titanic. We see the summer night. We see other strangers. We see Corporal Kangaroo walk through as well. Come through. And they all gather together as we see this one last panel shot of all our heroes to fight off what is wrong and to save Vanaheim. And then we turn the page. And we see the door close inside the House of Secrets. And we see Arthur S. and the Hell Warden speed off down the corridors and flip open a book. And the book contains a picture of our team. And he peers down. And just mutters, as he gazes in that picture. Turn the page. And I want to go around to each of you, and I want you to just paint me a picture of where y'all are at. Just one last picture for each of you. And let's start with Jet.
So I think last when we left, Jet was still like on that climbing up to that fire case, not yet seeing the danger of the various figures looming above, waiting for her to reach the top. So I imagine she's sort of like the panel is maybe you can just see her from the back, but the new symbol that's on the back of her hand is sort of glowing as it's more recently applied. And you can see like her face tilt up with like a look of determination, but not yet seeing the danger on the rise.
Excellent. Overdrive, what do we see?
So Overdrive has made a reasonable way, sort of right into the center of or closer to the center of all these bright things in the bazaar. There's probably the top sort of two panels. She's gone over to a vendor, and she's sort of describing Titanica and, you know, Mr. Smith. So she's like making super tall and then like pulling at her pants like someone wearing this. But then I think the panel after that at the bottom is you see her sort of her eyes getting drawn away from, you know, what she's meant to be focusing on and getting kind of engrossed by all of these interesting things that seem to be drawing her in.
Excellent. What do we see of Mr. Universe?
The universe is looking at the plethora of debris that makes up the metallic tops of these roofs, and he's with no other frame of reference. He's sort of mentally sort of trying to count down the 90 minutes in his head, looking at this map that makes no real sense to him, but kind of does make sense, and he's trying to align it just right as he's working his way in a direction. He's not sure where that direction will lead, but he's frantically going that way because he's pretty sure that's where the map says he needs to go.
Excellent. We see of Lawin.
Lawin would have landed in the bazaar, probably passing those gang squirrels selling their array of nuts. And he's looking like he's trouble, as if he's about to start picking a fight with anything that's remotely tied to the Wax King.
Nice. And what do we see of Titanica?
I think the last thing we see of Titanica is there is a panel of her hugging a woman almost as large as she is, and dressed in what looks like a barmaid's outfit.
Beautiful. And on that last, that's where we're going to call it for today. Thank you all for being here. The story is nothing without its audience, and you are much part of the story as we are. Now, I want to give you guys time to find where you can look for these wonderful people, because if there's nothing that we've learned in the past year, it's that you need books in your life, and these are some of the best. So go around, tell folks where we can find you and what you're up to. First, let's go up with Alicia. Where can we find you, friend? What are you up to?
Hi, I'm Alicia. You can find me on Twitter at NNG98. I tweet, it's either going to be puns, snakes, or or just retweeting cool art most of the time. That's generally most of it. On Twitch, you can find me at Petty Energy. It's not spelled a typical way. If you want to find out how to spell it, follow me on Twitter. I'll be back tonight in an hour and a half playing probably either Wingspan or Monster Problem with a couple of pals. That's where you can find me. Oh, also I'll run
Awesome.
RPG Hour this Thursday for Halloween shenanigans.
Great. And what's the next issue of Jet?
The next issue of Jet is actually Jet in what appears to be a calm sort of like it sort of looks like she's like on a placid lake, but there's boundaries to this lake, but they kind of go all the way up into the ceiling. So like they're there, but they're all the way up the top. And on the cover, it's splashed a blank canvas. What will come to the imagination? With new things on the horizon, what next will Jet do? Will it stay a blank canvas? Will nothing come to inspire? Or will she make the greatest decision she ever has made? Tune in next time for Jet!
Fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, Mr. Smith, where can we find you? What you're up to, my friend?
Hello, I am at Mr._Smith on the Twitterverse. You can find me here every Sunday, and typically you can find me playing Rune Ravenswood, the wizard, over on our Penny for a Tale channel. However, tonight we will be having a rerun to give some of our friends time to heal up from having some being sick recently. But I do want to quickly push, please, if you enjoyed this cast as well as all of our other casts, do give a pop over to the Patreon page, let them know, and give us a clue if there's anything in particular you want to see. All of that money goes directly to the cast. And yeah, please go check it out. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Svev, what are you up to, friend? Where can we find you?
Hello. You can find me on the Twitterverse as Swethra, like it says down here. I always get the place wrong, but here. And then on Twitch, I'm just Sweth, and Instagram as well. I do all different stream things because I'm bad at focusing on one thing. So I do craft games. We do some TTRPG design. I will next be on Wednesday. So if you fancy just various shenanigans, come drop me a follow there. I've got a few games coming up, but they're in a few weeks, so I'll save those announcements for a little bit closer to the time when I know more details. But stay tuned.
And
yeah.
the next issue of Overdrive.
Next issue is, so this is continuing in our sort of old life big backstory drop comics. This one is quite a high angle, a big wide shot. You see on the wall a very fancy sign of Horizon Laboratories, and then a big open area that looks maybe like a cafeteria, and just there are hundreds of just people in sort of plain black sort of tracksuits going about the business.
Very cool. And Nino, my friend, where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hey everyone, my name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino4K. Not quite sure what my schedule's going to shake out to be, but a week from Tuesday I will be over on the Utopia channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, running a game called The Party at Tiffany Burrell's House, where I lead a group of 4 or 5 folks through reimagining their best 90s teen selves in a hopefully a movie reminiscent of 10 Things I Hate About You, or some other 90s teen movie that's beloved by folks. Other than that, I am in the middle of fundraising this month for a charity known as Races, based out of San Antonio. You can find links to it on Twitter. So if you have a little extra money and you want to help a nonprofit organization that provides educational and legal services to a very underserved, marginalized population, in the effort to help build a compassionate society, please do donate. There's some giveaways that I will be conducting as well. I think that's going to do it. Cover for Lawin's single or solo issue. Probably be him navigating his way through the bizarre bazaar with folks promising lots of things that may or may not be his.
Excellent. And Molly, what you up to? Where can we find you, friend?
I am Obvious Rebel M on Twitter. I mostly talk about trans issues and pro wrestling. You can also find me as a regular contributor to the Adventure Game Engine Interest Series podcast, AGEIS.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And special thank you to Molly, as sadly life has thrown curveballs. So Titanica fights on and fights for home and people. Hopefully,
It has been an honor and a
we'll get to see it.
pleasure playing with all of you.
Again, follow all these folks, and because good people are few and far between, these are some of the best I know. As for me, I'm Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. If you want to see more of my ridiculous face, you get a number of opportunities. Next up is later this evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, over on Matt F7's channel. We get back with Masks Sunset City, where you get to see me play a ridiculous interpretation of an inheritor of Thor. So if you didn't get nearly enough Norse mythology, now you can tune in for a bit more. And then on Wednesday, over on Follow Black Cats, second season of Spy Game, The Hex Crawl, returns as I play a terrible, terrible human being in Sherlock. So if you want to see me play someone who is just the worst, tune in there. And then, of course, come back around here Sundays, see these wonderful heroes, and what they get up to next. Well, until next time, take care, everybody. See you soon.
You know.